Hey, planty people, it's your boy Jordan, and you guys are tuning back into Kentucky Plant Daddy. Today's video is going to be my favorites for September, and my favorites videos are usually the plants that are growing the best during the month. Not necessarily my favorite plants, because how could you ever choose, but these are the 5 plants that I have noticed are putting off the best growth this month, or they're doing something that they haven't before, or they're just setting themselves apart somehow from the rest of my plants. So we're going to do 5 plants, and I'm going to get started with the first one. Okay guys, the first plant that I have in my collection that's making my favorites list is my strawberry shake. I don't know if you can see, but this leaf over here was the leaf that I bought it as. It was a 1 or maybe 2 leaf cutting, this leaf down here. I put it on a moss pole and it has grown for me since, but it's been green, and then it finally put out this variegated leaf up here. I don't know if you can tell, it's pretty yellowy. So finally I got some variegation on this plant. It's grown pretty well for me. I was just kind of thinking that it was going to be reverted, but I finally got this variegated leaf, so that is why it is coming on the September favorites video. Also, I wanted to show you the back of the moss pole. I think one of the reasons why that I'm getting such better growth on it is because it's now rooted here and here all the way up the moss pole, and that's the root sticking out of the moss. So do you see that? So also I'm going to fill up the moss and see if that'll help it root some more. So the plant number 5 for my favorites is going to be my philodendron strawberry shake. Okay, so the second plant that I'm going to show you is a September favorite, and it has been on the channel before. We did a repot, and that's going to be my Syngonium aurea, and it is going to be a September favorite because it's growing so good now that it's established after its pot size up. I don't know if you can see like all the beautiful variegation on this plant, but it's beautiful. It's coming in healthy and it's grown so much. So you guys go ahead and take a look at the repot so that you can see the length of time that it took for it to grow to this stage. Right after the potting, it didn't grow very well in the beginning, and when I looked at it more closely, I saw that it had gotten spider mites. So I think that repotting it stressed it out enough to where it kind of give the spider mites the ability to get on there and take hold for a second. But I sprayed them. I gave it a shower. I sprayed them with some Castile soap and like a diluted alcohol spray, and I isolated the plant and they stayed gone, and then my plant started flourishing. So it looks a lot better, and it's nice and full. I'll put a picture maybe here so that you can get a full look at how variegated and nice it looks, but it is in 4th place for the September favorites this month. Okay guys, the third plant that I'm going to show you in 3rd place for the September favorites video is a Hoya, and that is my Hoya Linearis. And she's beautiful. She's kind of long. I've given her a haircut recently because I had like 2 or 3 vines that were out competing the rest of the vines. So I'm propping all of those cuttings in water, and then I'm going to place them in the top here and fill in the rest of this pot. So I had done that earlier to one of the vines. It was like extremely longer than the rest. And I propped in this little tiny, I don't know if you can tell, but over here on the side there's 2 props, and then over on this side there's a prop. So the smaller growth on the top are the props. But ever since I have given it a little bit of a haircut, she's popping off this way and this way. So she is growing, and she's just one of the most classic looking plants. I would highly, this is a plant that I would not want to lose out of my collection. I feel like even if this one, for whatever reason, started doing very poorly, this is a plant that I would even repurchase, just because I would notice it missing from my plant room very easily. And I just like look over and see like this is one of the ones that stick out to me. It's just a beautiful plant, and it propagates really easy and it grows really easy, so it's like super rewarding. So that's why it is the 3rd favorite for my September favorites videos, Hoya Linearis. Okay, the 4th plant that I'm going to show you is my Monera Tha Constellation. And I know that it only has 3 leaves, but look how beautiful that leaf is. This leaf is unfurling still, but I can tell it's going to be beautiful. And this is the only original leaf that it has. And so basically I have been through a crazy ride with this plant. It was growing beautifully for me, and it seemed like there was no stopping it. It was popping off a leaf, sometimes like 2 leaves a month. I think I had 5 leaves on it. Whenever the first fenestrated leaf came out on this plant, it looked beautiful for like the first day or 2 when the leaf was like this. And then all of a sudden my leaf was getting like wilty looking, and then it was like browning around the edges, and I had no clue what was going on. I was super worried. And I like turned the leaf around and looked, and I saw these little clear bodied larvae on my plant, which now I've identified as thrips. So this plant had thrips. I treated it with Jack's Dead Bug Brew, and I neem oiled it every 3rd day for like 2 weeks straight, and I had it separated from all my other plants. Slowly the affected leaves all started to brown except for this little one here, and there was one more beside of it. But then I started getting a growth shoot, which ended up being this leaf from one of the leaves, and then after this leaf shot out, I cut all of the affected leaves, and then now it's giving me this 3rd leaf. So I know that this looks like it only has 3 leaves, but we've been through it, and we're happy that this plant is bouncing back in the way that it is. And I use beneficial mites, and I did have the thrip mites on this plant when it got affected, but it was like the week that it could have like stopped working. Like it was like week 6 of the mites. So usually what I do is that I have my mites, and then I will shower my plants with their next week of watering, and then that week I order the bugs, and the next week I put them on. So they like were ready. I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that summer was turning into fall, and I don't know if anyone else has been experiencing this, but it has been a hard fall for me with pests. I've gotten spider mites. I've gotten spider mites on my philodendron, thrips on my monstera, and mealybugs on my Hoyas. So I've treated all that, and they were never like infestations. They only affected a few of my plants, and I caught them very early because I look a lot. But yeah, I've had a rough fall for pests. My summer was not nearly as bad. But second place favorite is my Monera Tha Constellation. We're all just happy that it's healthy. Okay, guys, so the fifth plant I'm going to show you and my September favorite is a Calathea, and that is my Calathea orbifolia. Look how beautiful that it is whenever I set it like this. Like, it's so pretty. I love these round leaves. I love these silver stripes. And this Calathea knows how to act. I know that Calatheas get a bad name, but this one is not under a grow light. I just have it sitting out in the room somewhere. It doesn't require a lot of light. It does like humidity, but like I just have it in my plant room, and I run a humidifier just for all my plants. It's nowhere near the humidifier. It does have like a brown edge or two, but nothing like that I'm willing to chop a leaf off for or anything like that. And it's not been terrible with pests. I think I found a mealybug on it, and it was like one, and I like used the alcohol swab and got it, and that was that. But it's constantly putting out new leaves. This is a new leaf. This little stick here is going to be a new leaf. There's one deep in here that you can't see that's going to be a new leaf. So it's just constantly growing. And yeah, so that's why the Calathea orbifolia is going to be the #1 pick for my favorite this September. She's just growing so well. So she's #1. A Calathea. Nobody probably is going to say that. People don't seem to love Calathea. Okay, guys, before we go, I do have 2 plants that I want to shout out because I really had a hard time not including them in these videos. I think that the reason why I chose these other plants over them is because I tend to really like Epipremnum. I know pothos, like people are like they're generic, but they're so popular for a reason. They're just so easy and they seem pretty pest resistant. I've literally run into no problems with mine this summer. Like, they have popped off. So the first one that I'm going to mention is my Marble Queen. I'm going to put some pictures here or maybe like a little video. This is when I started it. It's just some cuttings. And then this is where it is now. And I just love this plant. So this is my Marble Queen pothos that almost made the cut. And then the other plant that I'm going to shout out, that's an Epipremnum, is my neon pothos. I have one on a pole. That's not the one that I'm shouting out. The one that I am shouting out is a big, luscious, bushy neon pothos, and I'll include a picture here and maybe like a video. And if I can find a picture of it, I will include a picture of it when I first got it, just so you guys can see what she did for me over the growing season. When I first got into plants, I was watching YouTube videos and I was watching Plantarina, and I seen all her pothos, and I was like, I don't know how she gets these plants to look like this. And now that I have one, I feel like that this is a Plantarina pothos. Like, she's that beautiful. And really the key for me is that it grows like crazy. It gets the light that it needs. And all I did was keep cutting it back. Just the vines that were like out competing the others, once they'd get longer and dangly, I'd cut that back to meet the rest. And then like eventually it turned into this big, beautiful bushy plant. So those are the 2 plants that I'm going to give special recognition to for almost making the cut. So basically, that's going to wrap up this video. I hope that you guys liked my picks for September favorites. The next video that I'm going to do is going to be a philodendron scopomeranium spotlight, just because it's one of my favorite plants in my collection, and there doesn't seem to be a lot about it on the internet, so I just wanted to put out there how it acts for me and how it's grown for me. And maybe we can get it in the hands of a few more people, and people can enjoy it as much as I have. So if you don't care, please subscribe to Kentucky Plant Daddy. That's us here. And I really appreciate you guys liking the video if you'll do that. And I'm going to put my Instagram stuff at the bottom here like I always do. Just come and follow me over on Instagram. I post pictures of my plants all the time. Sometimes I use those pictures in my video, so like you can see that. And if you guys have any questions or comments, leave them below here on the video, or you guys can always comment on my pictures on Instagram. I really appreciate you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.